Blue 22.
You are watching Sports and Sorts live on YouTube. That's 75% sports, 25% sorts. And here are your hosts, Shane and the Bry Man.
Yes, we are back. It is Monday morning. Yes, I'm back on a Monday. And it is February 28th, the last day of February. And we are here to talk some sports and sorts. So we've got a lot to talk about. Not a lot, but there are some things that I think we're going to get into a little bit more than others. We have, just to give you some ideas what we're talking about today, we have Shane and the Bry Man, of course. We got a little bit of NFL. I want to talk about a little NFL, maybe who we'd like to see on our team, for free agency picks and stuff like that. There's a couple people out there that I think we might want, maybe not. And maybe some of the bigger names where you think they might go or something like that. No big deal. But that's not a huge pressing issue. I think we also want to get into just a quick bit on the NBA with the 76ers and Nets, their trade, which we never really got to talk about.
Yep.
And I would like to just kind of touch on it real quick, who we think won the trade, and then our quick thoughts about it. We also have a little bit of a quick recap on the MLB stupid crap that's going on, because the MLB owners and players can't seem to get on the same page, and it really seems to be the owners that are causing the issue here, for whatever reason. I don't know. You could probably make an argument for both. But we also have the weird science recast, which I'm pretty excited about. That was a tough one, but a fun one.
Yeah, it's probably one of the ones I spent the most time on in our Wheel of Destiny categories.
Yeah, like I said, it was fun, but it was tough. Like, I had to go back and watch weird science clips and all that kind of stuff, just to kind of get a re-feel for the movie, because I remember it. I saw it as a kid,
sure,
and multiple times, and it was just one of those movies that was it just hit different. It was just it came out at the perfect time for us. Anyway, so we'll get into that. We're also going to touch on with movies that were kind of really anticipated for, what we're anticipating is our most anticipated movies for this year, coming up. And other than that, I think that's pretty much all we have on tap for today. But I do want to get into, we're going to start off in the NFL. Phil Mickelson, I'm very interested to hear what Bry Man has to say, because we had a quick text chain, but it was very brief. And we're both Phil Mickelson fans. So I'm very interested in what you're going to have to say about that. And that'll come up right after this. But I want to get into the NFL free agency. It's a little more fun, a little more, probably a little hotter of a topic. So let's get into that. First, let's go into let's see if I can find the NFL segment. Yeah, the NFL. We're going to get into free agencies and who do we want to go where. What happened there? Oh, hold on a second. I clicked the wrong button. All right. So who do we want? Basically, who do we want? I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, is who do you want on your team? And kind of be realistic. Don't be like, oh, well, I want Devontae Adams. I want Devontae Adams, Chris Godwin, J.C. Jackson, and Jadeveon Clowney, and Orlando Brown, and I want Von Miller. Let's not
keep it real.
Of course, you want those guys, but I don't expect the Bills to fork over, a 4 or 5 year contract for about $100 million for Devontae Adams. I don't expect that to happen. I would be shocked if they go after really any of the higher tiered wide receivers. I'd be surprised if they even go for a wide receiver, to be honest.
What's their cap situation? I don't know what the Bills cap situation is.
I honestly don't know off the top of my head right now.
I'll look that up while you're giving your wish list.
Yeah. So, the wish list for me is, I just want a new, for me, I just want a new leader, not a leader, because I do like our defense. I love our defense. They do happen to give up some pretty big plays, though. And I would like them to go for maybe some veteran presence on defense. They give up really big plays in bad times in the secondary. But I also would like them to do something to provide a little bit more pressure on the quarterback, which would help the secondary too, because if you're putting the pressure on the quarterback, you're likely to get more picks. So for me as a Bills fan, and I know that this isn't going to resonate with everybody, but I mean, everybody knows who they want. If you want to put what team you root for, and you want to put who you want in the comments, go ahead and try and be as realistic as you can. But the two guys that I would be really looking for are like a Von Miller and a Stephen Gilmore. Those are the two guys that I would like, veteran presence. You could probably get them relatively on the cheap, a couple year contract, 1 to 2 year contracts. Von Miller is going to cost a little bit more than Gilmore, and Gilmore is not quite the player he used to be, but he's still not bad. Definitely a veteran presence, can definitely pick his brain as with some of the younger secondary in the Bills.
Experience in the the division.
And anytime you get a guy like that who can still cover.
Well,
what?
Is he a winner? Did he win a Super Bowl? Did he win a Super Bowl with the Patriots?
I mean, he's been in the league for 10 years. So.
Actually, I'll have to look that up. Great player. Again, not what he once was,
right? But still good. I mean, he's still,
31. He's not the oldest guy.
No.
He's been playing for 10 years. That's a nice veteran. He is a Super Bowl champion. Yeah, he won Super Bowl 53 with the Patriots. So, okay.
So I mean,
five-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah,
him and a relatively recent one, 2019.
Yeah, him and Von Miller are the two guys that I would
2021.
Like to see.
Excuse me, this year. Sorry, he was in the Pro Bowl. He was in the Pro Bowl in 2021.
He's good. I mean, he's 30, like I said, he's 31. He's 10 years pro. He's probably going to get somewhere like a 2-year, $30 million contract. So that's a guy that I would have on my wish list.
Kind of forgot he was out there.
And then if you don't get someone like Von Miller, it'd be nice to get somebody like a Jadeveon Clowney or something like that. Somebody that can put some pressure on the quarterback, somebody like that. I mean, again, of course, I would love to get people like, like a Chris Godwin. That'd be awesome. But it's not going to happen. Like, there's no way the Bills are going to do that.
By the way, I looked at the Bills
cap. Or like a Mike Williams. Like, we're not getting Mike Williams.
Yeah. I looked at the Bills cap situation. Now, again, listen, the salary cap is a myth. It's essentially a red herring. I mean, because there's so many ways to manipulate it. Converting dollars into signing bonuses, just cutting guys to make space, front loading, back loading. I mean, there's so many ways you can manipulate the salary cap. It's kind of a joke.
Yes.
But that being said, the Bills are currently $6 million in the red. So, they're in the bottom third of.
Well, they did just sign a huge contract for Josh Allen. So
sure.
And they have Diggs, and they have.
That's the price you pay, though, when you have your quarterback, and that's a problem you want to have. To have I have to pay my quarterback now. You want to have that problem,
right?
And the Bills have that. They're lucky enough to have that problem.
Yeah. Now that's the other thing too, is that you could always, and Josh Allen seems like the dude that might renegotiate his contract.
Yeah, he might. I could see him backloading, and maybe for a piece of steak in the team or something like that. I could see all that.
Yeah. I could definitely see him doing something like that, because he seems like the kind of dude that would do that. And his team, his wide receivers, I know they love him. I don't know if you saw, but a couple of his wide receivers, Gabriel Davis and Ian McKenzie, were on Hot Ones. They weren't on Hot Ones. They were on the Truth or Dab.
Yep.
And McKenzie said after, like, towards the end, he was like taking a bite of like one of the hotter swings, and he's like, Josh Allen, I love you, man. I love you, bro. Like, and that was like unsolicited. He didn't nothing was brought up about Josh Allen or anything. He just went out and said, Josh Allen, I love you, bro. Like, that is, I don't know why that was brought up or why that happened, but like, he just obviously the team really likes him and really cares about him. And I'm sure he feels the same way. So I wouldn't be surprised if he would do something like that. I mean, obviously you'd always like to have a better offensive line and all those things, but like, when it comes down to it, defense wins championships.
It does.
So that's where I would like to go. Our offense is good enough. We've had 2 good, solid offensive years. Yes, I would like another running back, but you know what? I don't know if I really like the running back situation that's available. The other guy, a wide receiver that I would love to get is a guy that you are very familiar with, and that's Jarvis Landry. But he is still under contract, even though things are a little shaky over in Cleveland.
I think that's probably going to end up being a trade situation.
Yeah.
I think he's out of there.
Yeah.
There's so many Dolphin fans that want him back, and I'm just like, that ship has sailed for me. I love Juice. Don't get me wrong. I love him. One of the more passionate players in the game. All the guy wants to do is win.
Yeah.
But as a Dolphin fan, specifically just for me, that ship has sailed.
Interesting.
I'm just, I don't like to get too caught back up in the past, like it's time to move forward. And the Dolphins have a lot of, don't get me wrong. I'd like his veteran presence and his veteran leadership. I think that would play a nice role, but I think there are other guys who could do that too. I don't think you need to have Jarvis Landry back in the fold.
Okay.
So do you have any more? Or do you want me to dive into?
No, that's really it for me. I mean, there are players that are out there that, there are so many good players out there. Like I would love to get like a JC Jackson or something like that, but he's just too expensive. Like there's just guys that are out there that are just too expensive. Like a Mike Williams, like who else is out there? I don't know. Chandler Jones might be a good ad as well, but like a Chris Godwin or a Devontae Adams, like those are guys that are just not gonna.
Yeah.
I don't see the Bills ever going after, but like there's some really good players out there.
Yeah.
This
is pretty simple for me. I'm going to give you 3 and 3. 3 guys on each side of the field. Although I wouldn't mind a new punter too. So if you want to include that on special teams, I suppose that would be acceptable. But it's funny because the 3 guys on one side are 3 guys that I want as free agents that you need to sign. And then the 3 guys on the other side are 3 guys that I want you to retain. So let's start with the retention on the defense. First and foremost, just fix this situation with Xavier Howard. He needs to come back into the fold. He's one of the top 5 corners in the league. When you have him and Byron Jones, that makes the Dolphins secondary especially difficult to navigate. It's why their defense was good. It's what allows them to utilize this amoeba defense package with all the blitzing that they do, because they know that they have 2 good boundary corners. If you take away Xavier Howard, that takes away a lot of the effectiveness of Byron Jones, because Byron Jones is very different than Xavier Howard. He is not a turnover kind of guy. Xavier Howard, he will get you anywhere from 5 to 10 turnovers per year, whether that's forcing fumbles and recovering them, or of course, obviously intercepting the ball. 2 years ago, he had 10 picks. Last year, I think he had 5 picks and a forced fumble in recovery. So the guy in the last 2 years has caused 16 turnovers. All right. Do the math. You don't want to lose a guy like that. Not to mention he's a figure on your team. He's a leader on the team. I know his knees are bad, but you know what? With all the cap money that the Dolphins have, which by the way, right now is north of 60 million, could be north of 75 to 80 million if they make some very easy decisions on guys to get rid of. So the Dolphins are playing with fucking funny money right now. They've got silly cash to spend. The Dolphins have the most cap space in the league, and coming off a team that's 9-8, that's pretty good. It's a pretty good situation to be in. So first and foremost, keep Xavier Howard. Second, just as important, you have to retain the services of defensive end Emmanuel Ogbah. You cannot let that guy go. You just can't, because if you let him go, then you're taking a strength and turning it into another hole that you have to fill. And Emmanuel Ogbah has made it clear, at least I think, that he wants to be a Miami Dolphin. So just get that done. Get it done. It's an easy, you know what the cost is going to be? It's going to be somewhere in the 15 to 18 million a year range. You have the money, make it work. The first year, you could probably get away with a nice signing bonus, so it probably won't hit you too much in the first year. And then the second year and going forward, yeah, it's going to be 18 million a year. Suck it up, Buttercup. That's the price to do business in the NFL. He has a market. Defensive ends with his level of production have a market, and you need to take care of those guys. So that's 2. Emmanuel Ogbah. 3, this is a little bit on the smaller side, but Nick Needham is a slot corner for the Dolphins, and he's really turned into a nice player. And he's not a guy that will cost you a ton of money. He's not a boundary guy. He can play the boundary, but he's not a boundary guy. He's primarily a slot corner. He's a nickel package kind of guy. But he's a guy that I really want them to keep because he's a guy that they picked up a few years ago and has really just developed into a quality player. And I think he's part of what makes that Dolphins secondary so solid and so capable and so dangerous. So he's a guy I'd like to see them keep in the fold. And then on defense, look, they have other needs. They desperately need a middle linebacker, but I think you can go get an inside linebacker in the draft, maybe even with that 29th pick, if that's the direction you want to go in. But there will be linebackers in this draft. So that's how I would address it on the defensive side of the ball. Just retaining 3 guys. On the offensive side of the ball, listen, there's no there's no secret here as to what's ailing the Dolphins, and that's offensive line. They need at least 2 guys. Because I think with the new coaching staff that's coming in, some of these guys are salvageable. I would not close the book on Austin Jackson. He's still literally one of the youngest players in the league, and he may be one of the top 3 or 4, maybe 5 youngest offensive linemen in the league, excluding the incoming rookie class. So
who are you talking about?
Well, I'm just talking about how I think there are guys on the Dolphins offensive line are salvageable. One of them is Austin Jackson. The other one is the guy you just drafted from Notre Dame last year that you moved up in the draft to get, and that's Liam Eichenberg. Gotcha. You cannot close the door on him, and you can't close the door on Austin Jackson. And you do have either a right tackle or a right guard in Robert Hunt. He's the one given on that line, Robert Hunt. He's a given. The question is, where is he going to play? Are they going to move him one more slot to the right and kick him out to right tackle to protect to his blind side, or are they going to keep him at right guard? Center is kind of up in the air because Michael Dieter, although he represented himself well, there's still room for improvement there. And given the kind of packages and the emphasis on the run game that Mike McDaniel as head coach is going to have, having a nasty center is pretty important. So there are 3 guys that I would love to have on this Dolphins line. And I will I'll give you the 3 and here's what I will say to the Dolphins. Pick 2, because my 3rd guy is going to be a different position, but 2 of them are on the offensive line. Either go with, and there are 3 different positions. And honestly, I kind of don't care which one. Either Laken Tomlinson, he's a guard, left guard, I believe, on the 49ers. He is hitting free agency, and he's a guy who's obviously very familiar with Mike McDaniel and the Mike McDaniel offensive run system. And he can pull, and that's something that will be needed in a guard if you're going to go to Miami. Laken Tomlinson is a plug-and-play guy. He'd be so easy. The big money acquisition, the one that's going to cost you, Terron Armstead, offensive tackle, New Orleans Saints. He's going to be high on everybody's list. The Dolphins should not be excluded. He is a perfect fit for them as well.
He's going to be like $20 million a year.
He's a $20 million a year guy. So just you got to know right off the bat, that's what you're dealing with, and he's going to get that money.
And that's why I know we couldn't even go after him. Like, right. It's just too much.
A lot
money.
Of it's going to be guaranteed. The red flag with him is injuries.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you got to look out for. And then again, so I'm saying pick 2 of 3 for the Dolphins. The 3rd guy would be Tampa Bay Buccaneer center Ryan Jensen.
Yeah.
He's got a nasty mean streak in him, and he's the guy I would love to be snapping the ball to.
And he's going to be cheaper. He's going to be like 12, 13, 14 a year.
He's still going to cost you, but yeah. So to the Dolphins, I say pick 2 of 3. Okay, now the 3rd guy and the last guy that I'll talk about. And I think you'll probably raise an eyebrow because you probably like this guy too, the way I do. Because and this is painful for me because I love Mike Gesicki, but Mike Gesicki is not a fit for this offense. He's just not. And I love him. Love him. The guy's got crazy hands. I mean, he's got like stickum or spider tack or some shit on his hands because that ball gets there, fucking peanut butter or something, like whatever that ball gets to his fingers, the ball just sticks there. Mm-hmm. But he is not the kind of tight end that fits into this particular offensive scheme. The Dolphins want to run the ball. They want to establish the run. They want to establish a sort of physical presence. And they need a guy who can put his fingers in the ground And Gesicki is just not that guy. Now, maybe he could be coached to be that, and I would love that. And maybe these Dolphins coaches are like, fuck this. We can coach this guy. We can coach this guy to block. But blocking is an extremely important part of the Mike McDaniel offense. And if you can't block, by the way, that's not just limited to tight ends and linemen. That is receivers, running backs. Hell, even the quarterback might need to block every now and then in a Mike McDaniel offense. Okay. That's how important blocking is in a Mike McDaniel scheme. And I don't think Gesicki is the right fit. The guy who I would love to have is a guy out of Dallas named Dalton Schultz. He's a really good fit for this offense because he can do it all. He can block. He can play dirty. He can put his hand in the ground, and he's a good route runner. And again, do I think he's a better talent than Gesicki? No. There's not many tight ends. You could count on one hand the amount of tight ends who are actually more talented than Mike Gesicki. Darren Waller, Travis Kelce come to mind. But Dalton Schultz is the right mix.
He's got to be commanding a decent buck.
I don't think he'd be. Honestly, I don't think he'd be that.
I don't think he'd be like. I don't think he's like a top. I don't think he's gonna be. Devontae Adams kind of money. But like,
no. He'll be in the 11 to 12 million range, and that's what Gesicki will cost. Gesicki, if you tag him, it's going to be 11 million.
Yeah. I would think that Schultz is like a better fit for most NFL teams.
Well, he is because.
Which I think that would make him a little bit higher priced.
The question with Gesicki is, could you just deal with turning him into a slot receiver? Sure, I guess you could. I mean, that takes away some of his value, right? Because that's sort of like taking a catcher and turning him into a first baseman,
right?
Like a bad catcher.
Yeah.
Like
Gary Sanchez,
or like Mike Piazza, right? Like imagine if Piazza was not a good defensive catcher, but you kept him there because the production level for the position was extraordinary.
Right.
Maybe it's not the best analogy, but the production level for Gesicki at tight end is very high, even though he can't really function as an all-purpose tight end the way you will need him to in this offense. Now, that's not to say he couldn't go play with a guy like Aaron Rodgers and go ballistic,
right? Because
he would. But in this offense, I just don't know that he'd be a good fit. Yeah. So those would be my guys. So again, just to recap on the defense, keep Xavier Howard, keep Nick Needham, keep Emmanuel Ogbah. On the offensive side, pick 2 of 3. Terron Armstead, Laken Tomlinson, Ryan Jensen, and then go get Dalton Schultz. And that's how I would like to address the Dolphins. And then
I think
you're probably saying.
So do you think the Dolphins will get Dalton Schultz?
No, I don't. I don't.
I think he'd be a great fit in San Diego. Oh, no, San Diego. In Los Angeles Chargers, the Chargers team.
The Los Angeles Chargers of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
I still want to call them San Diego.
Who doesn't? And you're probably conspicuous by its absence. You're probably saying, hold on, especially me, because I've been railing about this position for years. Why no running back?
Yeah. I mean, me too.
First of all,
I didn't go for a running back or anything like that, but like I feel like you can do something like that in the draft.
But the problem is I didn't want to go crazy here because I could on the offensive side, I could give you an entirely new Dolphins offense if you want.
Right.
But I'm trying to keep this realistic, right? But here's what I could tell you in a realistic sense. For starters, 1, draft a guy, because that is a position you draft. If you're going to bring in a free agent, don't spend big money on that position. I'll tell you what I would like for them to do at running back. Keep Duke Johnson and go get Raheem Mostert from the Niners. The Niners have a surplus of running backs. He's an unrestricted free agent. He might cost you $2 million a year. Just go get him. Perfect fit, and draft a guy. That's what I would do with the Dolphins running back. Keep Duke Johnson, which should be easy. Get Raheem Mostert. Those 2 guys together might cost you $4 million a year, maybe, and then draft a guy.
We'll both do this. If there was a guy that you could get as a running back that's a free agent this year, who would it be? I mean, there's a list. I mean, we got Melvin Gordon, David Johnson, Jalen Richard, Fournette, Lindsey, Cordero Patterson, Mostert, Penny, James White, Sony Michel, Marlon Mack.
So in just looking at this list, all right, well, okay. If you want me to go
there
outside
are 2 that I would go for.
If you want me to go outside the box with this a little bit, because none of these running backs really stick out to me. Don't get me wrong. I love Leonard Fournette, but I like playoff Lenny. If you're going to get Leonard Fournette's got a lot of miles on those tires, man. Those tires are starting to bald a little bit. That guy has been used a lot in this league. That concerns me a little. I love him as a player, love him, but a lot of tread. There's not much tread left on that tire. Honestly, just to go outside the box here a little bit, I would go get Cordero Patterson because he would fit so perfectly into a Dolphins offense with all the things that they would do with him.
Yeah.
Because he would be used all over the place in a Mike McDaniel scheme. So that would be the guy I would get. I do think the more likely scenario is they go get a Raheem Mostert because but I will tell you on the list, it would be Patterson 1 and then Mostert 2. And then again, because for me, you got to draft a running back, but you got to fucking get one in day 2 and no later than day 3. I can't like early day 3. I can't have you getting a 7th round running back again. You got to dedicate a solid resource to that position because if you just look at the available running backs here, there's nobody that sticks out to you that says this is a bell cow who's going to be my guy for the next 4 years. That person's not there. And if that person was there, they'd cost you $10 million a year.
Right.
So go draft a running back because that's what smart teams do. They draft running backs. They don't pay them in free agency. It rarely works out. And the Dolphins have missed on so many guys in the last 3 years. It's a major source of PTSD for me, so I don't want to go back into it. But the Dolphins have missed on a lot of starting guys who are franchise Pro Bowl running backs that are starring for teams in the NFL right now over the past few years. And it still makes me a little, so yeah, if I had my choice, Cordero Patterson 1, Raheem Mostert 2.
Gotcha. See, I'm in the camp where I would probably go after somebody like Marlon Mack.
Marlon Mack's a good player.
He's super young. He's only going to be 26. Not super young, but he's one of the younger running back free agents.
And he's stuck behind one of the top 2 running backs in the league.
And he was a solid running back.
Oh, he was good when when Taylor hurt in his rookie year and Mack had to step in. But even before that, Mack was a very serviceable, solid player.
I mean, you're talking in 2018, he had 908 rushing yards on 4.7 yards per attempt.
That was what I was going to ask.
And then 2019,
average 5 a carry.
Yeah, 2019, he had 1,091 yards at 4.4 yards per carry.
Okay, so a little drop.
And you have 9 touchdowns and 8 touchdowns.
Nice. What about him as a receiving back? Not that they really need that because Josh Allen's got.
You're talking 17 receptions and 14 receptions. That was 2018, 2019.
So not a big part of his game.
No.
That would be the only thing but it's not a concern.
But I mean, to be honest, I don't really know how often they would use him as that. I don't know how often the Colts used him as that. So
he'd be a nice veteran guy to add into that room with Singletary and Moss, who are, I mean, they're younger guys. They are technically veterans now, but they're younger guys. They're still younger guys.
But you would think that,
and that's a guy you could afford.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be cheap. I mean, he's like, I think he's like more. He's like they're like looking for like a $2 million contract or something like that.
Yeah, that's the area for a lot of these guys. You look at these list of guys; these are like $1 to $2 million a year players.
Yeah,
this isn't like last year.
The only other guy I would consider would be Sony Michel.
Yep, and you like his pedigree too. He's a winner.
Yeah,
he's been on championship teams,
and he can do big things.
He's played well in big games too.
Yeah.
So
but obviously they don't value him as much as the guys that they have. But he's also injury prone. He gets injured a lot, I feel.
Who's that? Marlon Mack or Sony Michel? Yeah, Sony Michel. Yeah, he's been banged up.
That's why I would go for Marlon Mack. I don't know what he's gonna bring. I don't know what he's gonna get. I feel like he's gonna probably get more than 2. He's gonna probably get something like probably closer to 7 or 8.
The other guy who is kind of an interesting guy on the list is James Conner.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
I mean, there's a lot of interesting guys. I mean, even Ronald Jones isn't. I mean, he's gonna be 25. I mean, there's a lot of guys.
Yeah, James Conner's 27.
Yeah,
he's still got some years.
He's not bad. I mean, even Tevin Coleman could. I mean, he's not fit for us, but like Tevin Coleman's a guy. Who else you got? You got McKinnon. He's a guy that you. I mean, even top of the list, I think, is Melvin Gordon. He's a good fit for a lot of teams, but he's going to be 29.
Yeah, I'm not.
The two guys that I thought fit the best for me were Sony Michel, Marlon Mack. Those I thought were the best fits.
You guys had Matt Breida, and that didn't. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it was okay. Didn't seem like he fit that great.
No. They have a good. I mean, between Moss and Singletary, they have a good 1-2 punch. But see, the thing that the Bills have, that like a team like the Dolphins don't, is they have a really good offensive line who can create holes and create space for running backs, even if they're not top tier running backs. But I still think, to me, it's still really vitally important to have. Now, I don't know that you need a top tier running back, but I would like a guy who's top 10 in production and who can, who can give you value on both sides, catching the ball, running the ball. I like north and south guys, so I like my running backs to have a little bit of size to them. I mean, we all want Derrick Henry because he could just – but you know what the funny thing is? Derrick Henry is the best running back in football, but he's not the best all-around running back in football because he very rarely catches the ball.
Right.
But he could just do one thing that a lot of others
very well
because he can fucking truck you. And I love watching him run through people.
Yeah.
It's just
he's
the best.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He is the best running back.
He did not do well in the playoffs.
No, well, this year, I mean, but again, he was coming off of,
But still, like it's
so much rust.
Yeah.
So much rust.
All right. That's pretty much it for that. I did want to talk real quick. What are your thoughts on Russ Wilson? Russell. What are your thoughts on him kind of pulling a Kyler Murray?
Yeah, I know. And if I still have, and look, Kyler Murray's not going anywhere. And in my opinion, I don't think Russell Wilson is either. Yeah. I think he's going to stay.
What kind of like pansy move is that though?
I don't know. These guys are all babies though. Quarterbacks have become the new wide receivers. They're such divas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a diva. It's become a diva position. And that's weird because Russ, I get it from Kyler, younger guy, maybe a little immature. Russell Wilson is a championship level quarterback who I usually think of in the most highest professional esteem. And he's acting like a child right now. I mean, all this shit with scrubbing your social media. Can we just stop with the scrubbing the pictures or any mentions of your team from social media? Like, and who is advising this? Are your agents? Because are your agents big babies like this too? Are you all playing in the same like elementary school sandbox together? Because it's really fucking childish crap. It's such childish shit.
It's so dumb.
Just stop. I mean, like, because when you do stuff like that, you're making it public.
Yeah.
You're putting it out there, and it's just dumb. He's not going anywhere. He's not. Because he's not an unrestricted free agent. So somebody is going to have to pay, a ton to get him. First of all, draft capital and possible NFL level ready players. And then you got to pay him. Mm-hmm. So no, he's not going anywhere. Not yet anyway. Not until he's a UFA. And I don't know when that is. So I'd have to look at his contract right now on Sport Track, but I don't think I think he's at least another year, right, from unrestricted free agency.
Yeah,
so
I don't know exactly when, but all of it's kind of
bottom line, he's not going anywhere, and neither is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers staying in Green Bay, and if he does go anywhere, it'll be Denver, where it's like ready made for him.
And I think that you're going to see.
I
think you're going to see Wentz in Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I don't think that Aaron's going to go to Denver. I don't think he's looking to be like a $50 to $60 million quarterback. I don't think he's looking for the biggest contract.
I think he's going to get 45. He's going to get.
Oh, he's going to get a lot.
2 years. He's going to get 2 years, $90 million from the Packers, all guaranteed, all of it.
And I don't know what the contract's going to look like or whatever, but he's going to get paid. It's just I think it's getting it blown out of proportion.
Yeah,
all of it. I don't know. It is what it is. I don't know.
Yep.
I'm not that concerned with it, but all right. Let's get into a topic that we don't have a logo for. We don't have a little banner or anything like that.
Uh-huh.
Because we don't talk about it all the time.
Uh-huh.
And that's Phil Mickelson and the PGA Tour. He made some comments, and I'll put comments in quotations because he didn't say that he didn't say them in his apology. He just said that they were off the record and basically out of context.
Yep.
And then, you know, you have, I don't know, half the league kind of attacking him and half the league kind of like saying, you know, I don't know what's going on. I think he deserves a second chance. You know, he said some stupid things, but basically out of Sorry. He said things basically out of context and like, or whatever. It's just, there's half the league is kind of like not on his side, but like give him a second chance. He's done so much for the game. Something was said. Everybody deserves a second chance. And then you have the other half of the league kind of like, he's an idiot. He's naive. He's in, you know, he's in a lot of, he's having a lot of troubles, you know, all this kind of stuff. I don't know. And the problem is we don't really know what exactly is going on with Phil. But the fact is that he said he wanted to stay home with his family and, you know, become a better man. And you have some of the people on the tour just like really throwing some shade at him. And then others that are just kind of like Billy Horschel came out and was like, you know, he said things that were just lies. But I do think he deserves a second chance. And I am in that camp. I don't know where you are, but I'm in the camp of he made a dumb decision. Now, I think that this whole Alan Shipnuck issue here, that's all very sketchy. Obviously, he said everything was on the record, but because he has to, because he's selling a book. It's coming out soon. He wants that book to sell. So why not release these comments ahead of time so that he can get some publicity and make sure that book flies off the shelves? Sure. Now, who knows if it's truth or who knows if it's not? I don't know. It was supposed to be off the record, according to Phil. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know Phil on a personal level, but I do think, yes, he deserves a second chance. And I will put this in the Tiger Woods category where he did some crazy stuff too. And not that many people were going after him like this.
Yep.
This is like, people are talking about suspending him for his life. Get off the tour. We're done with you. Yep. For a comment about the Saudi Golf League, who Saudis are known to be not great people, especially with people that are gay and all that kind of stuff. And like,
also murderers.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They'll murder you. Like they'll hang you for being gay and like
chop your head off.
They'll do crazy things. Now, you could also look at it as the fact as it's a Robin Hood situation where you're taking money from the rich and spreading it for good. Like he has foundations and he has, you know, other things that money is getting donated to that helps people.
I think the problem is people look at it as blood money because it is.
Well, it is, but like if you can do good with that money is not going to be done good with them, but you can take that money from them and do good with it, is what I'm saying.
By the way, there is some quick breaking golf news. Dustin Johnson has committed to playing in the 2022 Travelers Championship.
Oh, cool.
Wants to get that title back again. So, all right, here's where I am on it. Very simple. Vince McMahon has been not only in bed with the Saudis for years, but he has been banging the shit out of them, taking their blood money for years. And that motherfucking billionaire still hasn't gotten canceled. Yeah. He should have been canceled. First of all, Vince McMahon should be canceled, but for a lot of other reasons, aside from him taking Saudi money. Yeah. Partially because he's senile. He has no idea what he's doing with WWE talent. And he couldn't write a solid storyline right now to save his or his daughter's life or his any of his kids' lives. Okay. But probably the thing that Vince is most guilty of in the last handful of years is taking Saudi money, being there in Jeddah in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia twice a year. This year for an actual most of the events that he's done there, they've been the days of WWE pay-per-views are sort of kind of gone because everything's on Peacock now. So it's like part of they're still called that though, technically. At any rate, he usually does like these, like once to twice a year, like Crown Jewel is one of them. And it's like they're kind of like one-offs. It's like, think of them as the best analogy I could use is sort of like, they're not canon. Like they don't, like most of these pay-per-views that take place in Saudi Arabia aren't like really active parts of the WWE storyline. Mm-hmm. They're like, they go over there, they just randomly put some matches together, and then that's it. There's like really nothing. There's no fallout from it, right? They're like one-offs. But they actually did one this year, though. They did the Elimination Chamber there, and it is a huge part. It was a huge part of the storyline building into WrestleMania because it was the pay-per-view in between the Royal Rumble and Mania. So, and it had a big impact. There was significant, results from it that have impacted the main event of WrestleMania. So, I guess the point I'm trying to make here is, it's a bad optic for Phil. Mm-hmm. Getting in bed with the Saudis is just never a good thing. It's not. And I don't want to throw Phil a lifeline just because he's my favorite golfer. But I do think that there is some merit to the fact that if you're going to let other people off the hook for this, again, Vince McMahon, there has been like, maybe it's because Vince doesn't care about what social media thinks of him. He just doesn't give two shits.
The thing that's crazy,
the difference between Phil and Vince McMahon, aside from the fact that one's a millionaire and the other one's a billionaire, and that's another thing too. There's no consequences for billionaires. Yeah. None.
Well, yeah.
I mean, there's really
none. I think
none.
wrestling is held to a different standard.
It is.
That's why.
But why is that fair?
I don't know.
Because God damn, like, and yes, like in a roundabout way, I could kind of see what Phil was maybe trying to do. It just didn't. The execution was not good.
I honestly, I read the comments and I was kind of like,
I read them a couple times.
It's not that bad. Like, it's not good.
It's less about. I think it's less about the comments and just more about the action. You want to take blood money from the Saudis, and that's what.
That's not what he wanted. Because he even said towards the bottom of his comments, he was like, look, I'm not really doing this for this. I just want to have a negotiation with the PGA because we need our media rights.
I think the problem with his comment was he acknowledged that they're bad people. Yeah. And then he's like, I'm still going to take that money though. Right. Like that's ultimately that's the problem. Like he acknowledged them as awful. I mean, again, not everybody in Saudi Arabia is a bad person, but let's be honest. The people in high places there are definitely into some shady kind of corruptive shit. And also they're murdering scumbags. So they've killed Americans.
Right.
It's a bad look. I don't know what else to say. It's a bad look. Do I think he should be canceled over it? No, because Vince probably should have been canceled and he's been nowhere near canceled. That motherfucker still shows up on TV. His old ass still shows up on TV once every few weeks.
Right.
And actually, I think this week he's going on Pat McAfee's show. Of course, Pat McAfee's on the WWE payroll too now, so whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, it is interesting though. I have seen, to your point, I've seen some golfers say we're done with him. I've seen some golfers say this is being blown up into way bigger of a thing than it should be. I think I don't want him to just apologize. I want him to understand why the optic is so bad.
Yeah.
And to acknowledge that, and then maybe reconsider, like, you know what? I thought this through and fuck, it was dumb. I think if he goes forward with it though, that I wouldn't love that. I'll be honest. I wouldn't love it. And it would tarnish him a little bit to me.
I mean, it all depends. I really feel like it all depends because like it's not something I would do probably, but
I wouldn't.
But you got to think of it as look at it this way. If you like, for instance, our podcast was going to get a $20 million per year.
Could we just get like one live watcher?
Yeah. But I'm just saying, our podcast is going to get.
We do this for us.
Is going to get $20 million. That means we're each going to get $10 million per year, right?
Yeah.
For 5 years, right?
Which is life-changing money.
Saudi, backed by Saudi.
Ugh.
Okay, I know, gross, right? But
Gross.
we're getting that money now. Our kids can go to college, no charge at all. As it is, like I'm planning on trying to do the best I can for that anyway. But go to college, graduate school, we can take that money, donate it. That gives, it's just years and years. It's generational money that you can do a lot of good with, and it's not just, it does feel icky, but as long as you're making sure that, okay, I'm going to set my family up, and then the money that's left over, I'm going to donate to charities like that are against what they do.
Well, the one thing that I do think is interesting is that the Saudis, I'm sure, saw what he said, like, because Phil did acknowledge that they were not good people,
right?
And yet they don't seem to care about that. They were still gonna throw the bag at him.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
But that's the difference.
The thing is that he pissed both sides off.
Oh, I'm sure you're right. Yeah. I mean, right. I mean, this whole thing is probably moot now because it's probably going to be off the table at this point for him. Mm. I mean, shouldn't Greg Norman be the guy that is really being gone after here? Because he's the guy that's established this whole thing.
Not really, because he's been off of the PGA. He's been like at a feud with the PGA for years.
That is the problem.
And I don't know what that whole issue is.
Because there is the link here between Saudi and the PGA, which Greg Norman, does not have that link anymore. Right. So I think, yes, you're right. But Greg Norman also has just no conscience about this whatsoever, apparently.
Well, for some reason, he hates the PGA.
Well, I'm sure he has his reasons, but
I don't know what the reason is. I don't know what's going on.
But you didn't win enough because you couldn't play big enough in the big moments.
He won a lot.
What did he get? He got he did win a lot. He won a lot of money. Apparently he's got a pretty good steakhouse, I think.
Dude he's got so many golf courses out there. His lineup. Dude's worth $500 million.
Right. And see, part of the thing for me is that when it comes to these, again, and I can't understand the mindset of a millionaire or a billionaire because I don't have that kind of money. But that is one of the things that I find puzzling too, is and Vince McMahon definitely knew when he was getting into bed with the Saudis. Mm-hmm. He knew the optic and he knew the blowback from that. He knew what it would be, and he still did it because he was just like, I'm going to take this money. Mm-hmm. But the thing that confuses me about that is, again, this is where I'm being naive, right? Because I don't have fuck you money like these people have. So I can't put myself in the mindset of like, what are these guys even thinking getting into bed with these horrible people? I can't relate because I don't have that kind of money. And I guess as a millionaire, you say, well, I'm a millionaire, but my goal is to be a billionaire. And if you're a billionaire, I don't even know what the goal is beyond that, but trillionaire? I mean, is that a thing? So what do you if you're Vince McMahon, what are you shooting for there? And don't just tell me, I want to make sure my kids and their kids and their kids and their kids and then their kids and their kids are set up for
he's fine.
Yeah. I mean, right. That's already done anyway.
Yeah.
So what do you...
I know Greg Norman on this side is he's trying to do stuff for the Asian tour and all that kind of stuff. He's trying to create an Asian tour and all that. Whereas, the dude won. I mean, he had 20 PGA wins. Overall, he had something overall he had 88 professional wins. I mean, the dude and 2 majors. I mean,
to answer your question, if we were good enough to get that kind of an offer from the Saudis, then we would be good enough to get that kind of an offer from somewhere else.
Not necessarily.
I would really hope we would have been good enough at this to have gotten an offer elsewhere. Why would it just be the Saudis?
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying,
I will tell you,
they're going to pay more. So, you might get $1 million here, but 10 million there. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what. There's a great quote from first of all, there's a lot of great quotes from the movie Tombstone. But one of the great quotes from the movie Tombstone is, it was kind of right in the beginning. Kurt Russell gets off the train. Wyatt Earp gets off the train. And immediately he's met by a guy there who basically he was a retired peacemaker from Kansas at
Yep.
that point, and he wanted to go set up in Tombstone and make money.
Yeah.
And the guy immediately like wants to offer him a job, to be local authority. And he's like, nope, like I'm going to Tombstone. And he's like, oh, you'll make your fortune. He's like, I never met a rich man who didn't have a guilty conscience.
Mm-hmm.
And Kurt Russell had the best line. He's like, I've already got a guilty conscience. Might as well have the money too. It's a fucking phenomenal line. So my point is, I've got a guilty conscience about a few things in life. Maybe I should just take the money and run too and set my kids up for life. But oh boy.
And not only that, but like the money that you could do for the good of like your community. Oh, there's so much you could do.
Again, listen, I'm not saying I wouldn't. It'd
be tougher to sleep at night.
Oh, it'd be horrible. It would be horrible. I just don't think I could. I don't think I could. Honestly, I don't think it's hard. It's impossible for me to answer that question without it actually. I'm those kind of hypotheticals. It's hard for me to really say. I need someone to put that contract in front of me and a lawyer in front of me to be like, yo, this is real. You signed this, you're a fucking millionaire, And I just don't think I could. I just don't think I could do it. I think I would struggle with it. And you would probably be yelling at me like, what the fuck?
No, I would have a hard time with it. I would need to like have multiple meetings with like my family and
I feel like I'd have to hire security detail just to be like, oh my God, is Twitter going to come after me now? Like social media. And that's the other thing too. It's like, you couldn't just like fall off the grid either. Like you need to maintain if we had that as like a full-time job, being on social media would be a big part of it.
Just ignore it. Yeah.
You'd have to. You get very familiar with the mute button, which I have. So anyways, it'd be
really tough. I agree. It's really tough, but I do see a side where you can do a lot of good with.
If you took the money and used it, like, here's what I would say, especially for a guy like Phil, who doesn't personally need the money.
We don't know that. That might be part of the problem.
Okay, I suppose that's true.
He has a lot of gambling issues.
He does have
insider trading stuff that happened in the background, but wasn't really about him.
He's been talking about personal issues. I don't know if his marriage is falling apart. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know.
At any rate, okay. Let's just say though let's just say he had no real financial issues and he was set for life and his kids were set for life. The one thing I would say is, boy, if you just took all the money and donated it to like a really appropriate charity.
Yeah.
Like all of it.
Uh-huh.
Now that I could kind of get behind, because that could be like a real kind of fuck you to the Saudis. Like, I'll take your fucking blood money. I'm going to use every red cent of it for good.
Mm-hmm.
And if, because then there's no personal gain. Right. There's
until you win, but unless you're donating every bit of winning.
Oh, right. Now I'm talking like everything. The money you give me to sign it and any winnings I make right to this charity or spreading it out amongst any charities, whatever, like charities that focus on humanitarian rights, essentially, like that's, and can you imagine, like that is just a straight up flipping of the bird to the Saudis. And you have to wonder, like, would they care? They might not. They probably wouldn't give a shit.
All news is good news, right?
Right. We don't care. We don't care what you do it for. Oh, you're taking all of our money and using it for good? Great. That works for us.
Keep showing your face. Thanks.
Yeah, and for Phil, it doesn't shock me that he was necessarily in this position because let's be honest, he's winding down in terms of his pro circuit career. It's just probably, I know he just won a major this past year, which was such a special moment. But at the same time,
he really can only win I guess he potentially could win the British, but like his PGA and the Masters are like the real ones that he has a chance at.
I think the conditions for a British,
even the US Open is going to be tough.
Yeah, no, I think the US Open is completely off the table. The British, unless literally wind blew in his favor, I don't know that he could actually win that one anymore. I agree. It's PGA and a Masters, and even the Masters might be tough for him now too. But the one thing with the Masters is always played on the same course. So
it's always played on the same course, and it's exactly what the course is bringing. There's no surprises.
You do. The condition, right? There's no right. And you're not going to get a lot of weather playing too much.
And it's not like an 8,500 yard course. It's not like, it's just shot shapes. You have to hit your spots.
Yeah. I mean, I guess hole placement, right, on the green is really the only thing you have to adjust.
He's been in the league for 3,000 years. There's no hole that he hasn't seen.
Right. I'm sure every place where they've placed a hole on a green, he's seen it.
Yeah.
He's
like
played
Tiger. Tiger's going to be able to have a chance to win the Masters for the next 10 years.
Right.
I mean, so whether he comes back this year or not.
It is kind of funny that the Masters is still, at least in my estimation, still by far the most prestigious of tournaments. And it's
because of the recognizability. People like to see the
jacket. Yeah, the jacket is the separator, you know.
But that, and like, people like to see. That's my biggest problem with the PGA right now, is that people want to see the players and the things that they like. And if you can, you're guaranteeing that you're going to see this course at this high level every year. Yeah, you know it as a fan what's going to happen on certain holes.
Remarkable consistency.
Yeah, and like, you just like to know what's going to happen. People like routines, and that's part of the routine.
Sure.
And they want to be able to see, like, I want to be able to watch Jordan Spieth play a whole damn round. But the problem is if he's 5 back, they don't show him.
You got that fucking like.
So then I'm like, forget it. I'm not watching. I want to see the players I want. That's why I watch YouTube golf all the time, because I get to see like the good guys play every single time.
And don't you have courses. Like, you've got the NBC commercial every year with the music, a tradition unlike any other. The Masters. You got the Jim Nance's sultry voice, kind of just ushering it in.
But like, I want to see certain players play. I don't care. Like, Joaquin Neiman is great. I don't want to see him play. I don't care for him. He doesn't resonate with me at all. Like, you have to put cameras on people that most people like. Like, I want to watch Jordan Spieth play a whole damn round. I would I would like to see Wesley Bryan play, who's also on YouTube with his brother George. I would like to see him play more, because I think he's got a great personality, even though he whines a lot, but he's just funny. Yeah. I want to see some of these guys play more often. Like, I don't find John Rahm all that entertaining. Is he great at golf? Yeah, he's amazing at golf, but I don't find him that entertaining. I find Jordan Spieth entertaining because he pulls all these shots out of his butt and he gets into trouble, just like Phil did. It's very entertaining to watch. Like, I don't care for Rory McIlroy. Never have. I've always found him to be a little snooty, little holier than thou. But other than that, like, there's plenty of players that I would just like to watch because I think they're fun. Like, I like Colin Morikawa. I think he's great. I would like to watch him more often. I don't mind Bryson DeChambeau. I don't really want to follow him. Yeah. I would like to follow Brooks Koepka along 18 holes or something along those, because he's controversial. But if he's not if he's not a contention, you're not going to get to see him play. Yeah. It sucks. And the fact that they don't allow like cheering and stuff, I really feel like they should do the waste management. Like, they should have one hole at every course where you can just kind of go a little wild, and get some rejuvenation.
The waste management is still such great. It is. All right. What do we got next?
All right. We got, let's get into 76ers real quick. I don't want to spend more than like 3 minutes on this. 76ers real quick. 76ers versus Nets. Obviously, Ben Simmons is now on the Nets, and James Harden is now on the 76ers. Who do you think is a better fit? And what team do you think is going to do better?
I think it's a more immediate win for the Sixers, because you are getting a guy who's, the one thing left for him in James Harden is to win a championship. Mm-hmm. It's the one thing that has eluded him. I thought for sure he would help with Kyrie and Durant, bring one to Brooklyn. I don't know how that did not manifest itself. It just didn't. That's an incredible fail. The fact that those three guys, for whatever reason, couldn't make that work. Now you shift him over to a team that's 14 games over 500, that is right in the thick of things in the East. Mm-hmm. They're one of the top 4 teams in the East. And Embiid is a top 10 player already.
Oh yeah.
I think in the, again, a short term for sure. Mm-hmm. And I think Harden brings an element that Philly needed, a guy who had range, who could hit from the outside.
Yeah.
To position him with a guy like Embiid, I think that was valuable for them. In the long term, you'd like to see things work out for Ben Simmons. I mean, Ben Simmons was just so maligned. He just couldn't get out of his own way in Philly. And it's the fresh start that he needed. In the long term, you hope it works out for the Nets and for Ben Simmons specifically. Mm-hmm. But man, I'll tell you, you went from one crucible to another, from Philadelphia to Brooklyn, because you're going into a team again that has guys like Kyrie and that has guys like Durant. And if that team doesn't win a championship, if that Brooklyn Nets team does not get a championship at some point, Durant and Irving won't be blamed because they've won championships. It'll be that third guy that gets the blame. And in this case now, it could be Ben Simmons.
Yeah, I don't know.
And here's the thing. I'm not so sure that Nets team is going to win one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they are.
Yeah.
It might just not work. This chemistry with Durant and Irving, not that. First of all, I mean, Kyrie essentially is only allowed to play half the games, right?
Yeah, I think the mask mandates are all going to be.
Yeah, that's
soon
right.
Anyway,
so now that's going to end now.
Yeah.
So because COVID's over.
Well,
so
it's not over, but it's.
Oh no, it's over.
It's lessening, but a lot. But yeah,
according to everybody, it's over. It's done now. By the way, I hope you're picking up the sarcasm.
I am.
I'm really fucking.
I understand what you're saying. I do. I get your sarcasm.
Because I'll tell you what. To me, it ain't over until 2,000 people a day aren't dying. Right. Then I'll be willing to weigh in and say, okay, yeah, maybe it's over. Maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel. When 2,000 people a day are still dying, I'm sorry, I'm struggling with the light at the end of the tunnel.
It's not great. Yeah.
Thing. It's a lot. That's a lot of people. And now you're removing mask mandates, and we'll see what happens. I know my kids are actually pretty concerned about that.
Yeah.
But anyways, but Embiid had a big night, against the Knicks last night. I think Harden had like a triple-double, so good start. Good start to your Philly career. Again, so short term, I think, and here's the thing: short term, it needs to work out for the Sixers because that poor fan base, including my brother, has been told that they need to trust the process for over a decade now, and that process has not worked out for them.
I know we've been talking about that process for a while.
You needed to be this guy, and here's the other thing for Philly, and it's actually less about Philly. I would say it's just as much about Philly as it is about Harden, but man, oh man. Both sides need this to work out. And when I say work out, I mean a championship. Yeah. Because if you don't get that chip, it's a fail for Philadelphia for not being able to close the deal again. And it's another big fail for Harden, who will end up going down as one of, if not maybe the greatest player in NBA history to not win a championship.
Yeah.
His legacy is so on the line right now because how many stops has that guy now been at where it's getting really hard for him to make excuses?
Yeah. I'm with you and not with you at the same time. Like I feel like this is definitely a win for both teams. I feel like what Harden provides, the Nets had plenty of. They have Durant who can score, and they have Kyrie who can score. Now Kyrie's not as good with the assist situation as Harden, but he can score. They need a guy who can provide assists and play defense. That's what Ben Simmons is. So I think it's a good fit. Now you have on the other side where Embiid needs someone who can score and get him the ball. Mm-hmm. Harden is good with assists. He's good with rebounding, and he's good at scoring. So I think it's just a great fit for both sides. Yeah. I do think that I feel it's a little more congested in Brooklyn than it is in Philadelphia. So I feel like there is a chance, but like I said, defense wins championships and Harden is not known for his defense. So they're going to have other people step on the defensive end to help them out because there are times Harden just lets the guy go by him. Now, he doesn't do that as much in the playoffs, but still it's also harder for him to score in the playoffs. So, but that's where Embiid comes in, and that's going to be a huge help. So that's great. But as far as Brooklyn goes, I think if this doesn't work out, I really put the blame mostly on Kyrie, because I feel like he's the one that kind of made all this happen. And Ben Simmons, I feel like Kyrie could leave and Ben Simmons could take his spot. He's not going to be the scorer, but you have Durant. And you could get somebody to, they have Seth Curry now too. So like they are set. They don't need Kyrie. They have him, but they don't need him. So I don't know. It's one of those things that, do I think Kyrie's a great player? Yeah. Do I think he's like kind of controversial and seems to throw a wrench in stuff a lot? Yeah. So I think there's just going to be a lot more drama in Brooklyn. Even though, because you have Kyrie who causes drama, Durant who causes drama on his fake Twitter account, right? And then you have, of course, you have Simmons, who has his own mental problems that he's been having to deal with in Philadelphia for the last year, and now he's got a back issue, and I think that it's just going to be. I think it's just a slight win in Philadelphia, because I see a straighter path for them. Whereas I'm not sure where the path's going to go in Brooklyn.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's it for that.
All
right. So now let's get into. We should probably get into the weird science, right?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Weird science. Let's get into, which was our Wheel of Destiny, and we are going to be doing recast a movie.
And I came up with the replacement slot for it.
Yes, you did. And what was it? It was like guilty pleasure comic book movies.
Correct.
Yes. Do I have anything? Oh, here we go.
Where do you think you're going? I'm gonna sort it out.
All right, so we're gonna sort it out with Weird Science recast. I have a lot. I was having a hard time coming up with an exact list, because I just kept on finding other actors, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But who did you come up with the cast to replace? I did, obviously, Anthony Michael Hall. I did, Elon Mitchell Smith, Kelly LeBrock.
Yep. LeBrock, yeah.
I did Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Russler, who are two characters that are in there. Bill Paxton, and Vernon Wells, who did Lord General. Those are the guys that I picked. I also did potentially some director replacements.
I did Lisa, Gary, Wyatt, Ian, Max, and Chet.
Yeah. Okay. So you did, all right. So you did Ian, Max, Chet. You did Lisa and Wyatt and Gary.
Yeah.
Okay. And I did Lord General and I also did John Hughes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Which is the toughest one, I think, to replace.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. You dove a little deeper.
A little bit, but like I said, it was really tough, and I have so many names on here that I just have to pick one.
Yeah. There are some guys on mine that you might not even know who they are, because there's some younger guys.
See, all the guys that are on my list, I tried to do. I picked everybody's age. Like Wyatt was 16 when he did this role. Gary was 17. Lisa was 25.
I just wonder if we will have anybody in common at all.
Ian and Max were both 20. Bill Paxton was the oldest. He was 30 at the time, as Chet. And then, technically Lord General was the oldest because he was 40. But
okay.
So yeah. What do you got? Who do you want to start with? Well, I'll let you start and then I'll go. To see because I have a huge list here to make sure that we don't have. But I do have the guy that I have it checked who I planning on picking.
Okay. It was funny too, because you were mentioning earlier about for maybe, because this is early to mid 80s, right? Okay. So, for us, we were, I forgot what year exactly Weird Science. I know like Fast Times at Ridgemont
It was
High
like 85, 1985.
Yeah. But like for our age, like if you could think about like guys our age, like growing up and, are there any more like two kind of iconic, like beautiful female lead scenes than like Kelly LeBrock and like when she first, when she first appears in Weird Science, and then Phoebe Cates in Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Those are super iconic. Yeah.
I mean, like, just Phoebe Cates getting out of the pool, and and then like Kelly LeBrock like coming through the smoke, like it's just those are just like for people our age.
Yeah,
those are iconic moments.
Those are definitely iconic. Yeah.
Let's start with. I mean,
start with either Wyatt or Gary.
Yeah, I was gonna say Gary.
All right.
You want me to go?
Yeah, sure. Sorry.
So for Gary, I went with. Now this is a name. I don't know if you'll know the name, but you'll certainly know who I'm talking about once I tell you the roles. If you don't know the name, I went with Finn Wolfhard.
Oh, I know that. I know
Stranger
the name.
Things.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Okay.
Are like his, kind of three. And he's a young man.
Mm-hmm.
He's a young guy. He certainly could play the role.
How old is he?
I don't. You know what? I should have written all the ages of these people down. I did not do that.
I'll find out. I'll look it right now.
Yeah.
He's 19.
Okay. So, I mean, it fits, right? I mean, maybe listen, a lot of these kids even look, younger than they are. So, I mean, I didn't perfectly match up ages and stuff like that.
I didn't either. I put those ages out there, but I didn't match them up.
Yeah. I just tried to find things that fit. And so I thought, you know what? Because the thing I kind of like, when you looked at Gary and Wyatt, I mean, these are like kind of dorky guys, right? These were nerds who wanted to build the perfect woman,
Yeah.
And so I look at Finn Wolfhard, and just the way he looks in Stranger Things, and even in Ghostbusters, and even in It, like with his hair, like he's like a nerd science kind of kid. I look at him, I'm like, yeah, that works. So he was my Gary Wallace.
All right. So for Gary, the list I had, I'll give you just the names that I threw out there. One was Miles Brown. And this is if you wanted to kind of change it up and go African-American. He's the young boy on Blackish.
Okay.
So I think that would be a good fit for that role. If you decided you wanted to change it up, go African-American instead of stay white.
He's really young. How old is he?
He's got to be close to 20.
Oh shit, he actually is 17.
Yeah.
God, that's so weird to me because I watched Blackish in the first handful of seasons, and I feel like
he's
just a kid.
He's just a tiny kid.
Just a kid.
And Gary
he's 17 now.
And Anthony Michael Hall was 17 at this time.
Okay. All right.
So
well, hey.
that would be a good fit. Now, the other guys that I thought would be good fits as well were Cameron Monaghan, or Monahan, whatever you want to call him. I don't know. Or Will Poulter. So Will Poulter is known in We Are the Millers.
Cameron Monaghan is Joker.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
And in Gotham. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Will Poulter is the kid who got his nuts bit by a tarantula or whatever it was. In We Are the Millers.
Will Poulter is great because Dolphins fans love Will Poulter because he looks just like the tight end that they drafted last year out of Boston College, Hunter Long. Dude, you got to look up Hunter Long. Look up Hunter Long, and you've got to be thinking to yourself like, holy shit, how could another human being actually look like Will Poulter? Because Will Poulter is so right.
That's pretty darn close. Yeah,
it's pretty crazy, right? So.
That's pretty funny.
It's just it's funny. Yeah. Like if there is a Hunter Long story, we all know Will Poulter playing that role. So.
And the thing is I'm not sure you could get, because of this and how it is, I don't know if you could have a 17-year-old still play this role. So that's why I went a little older. And Will Poulter's 29, and Cameron Monaghan or Monaghan, I don't know whatever you pronounce it, is 28.
I would assume Monaghan.
Yeah, that's what I thought so too. But you never know where they're from or whatever. So those are the two guys that I had, and they're both 28 or 29, which I think that they are boyish enough to play the role down.
So which one did you officially go with?
Will Poulter.
Oh, you did go Will Poulter. Okay.
Yeah,
so
I just feel like he fits the goofy Anthony Michael Hall a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
and, but I do like Miles Brown in that situation as well. Like I would,
Okay.
1A, 1B would be Will Poulter or Miles Brown. If you wanted to go younger, definitely go Miles Brown. If you wanted to go a little older, go with Will Poulter.
I like it. Okay.
All right. Now go with Wyatt. Who you got, Wyatt?
So this might be a name you don't know at all, and I did actually go African American here. So I went with a young man by the name of Abraham Atta, and he's from Beasts of No Nation.
Okay.
That's probably to date his biggest claim, Abraham Atta, and he is 20. So I had a 19-year-old and a 20-year-old playing these roles, but Abraham he's still got kind of a boyish. He's still young. He's a young kid. But I also kind of felt like
how do you spell his name?
Attah is the spelling of the last name.
Gotcha.
Abraham Atta. And I don't know. I just thought he'd be like a nice kind of fit to play opposite of Gary.
Okay.
So he was my choice there for that one. Yeah. So those are your protagonists in my reimagining of
I like
this
it.
Is Finn Wolfhard and Abraham Atta.
The guy, so I had a couple guys here as well. The one that's probably most recognizable I picked, but he's my least favorite, and that's Ty Sheridan. He's my least favorite out of the group. But the two that I really liked in this was, if you're going a little bit older, you go with, not a lot older, but just a little bit older, and that's Timothée Chalamet.
Okay.
If you want to go a little older. But if you want to go a little younger, this is my favorite one. And that is Jack Dylan Grazer. The kid from Shazam who was friends with Shazam.
Yeah.
He is great. And I feel like he could fit that role perfectly.
Yeah, he does. He does have a good line. And he's 18.
Yeah.
So that's good. Yeah, that works.
You could have like a Miles Brown and, Jack Dylan Grazer. You could probably even throw Will Poulter in there. He might look a little too old but it's not that far off. Like you could just still play it like he's 23 and he's 19 or 18 or 17, something.
Jack Dylan Grazer is a great choice. Yeah. Great choice to be one of those protagonists. Yeah. That's a good one.
I liked him a lot.
Yeah. All right.
That's my favorite in that one.
You acquitted yourself well in that.
Thank you. Now we can go to Lisa. Or do you want to make her last?
I want to save Lisa last.
Yeah. All right. Because that's the one where I had like 30 people.
Oh my God, there were so many.
You could really go anywhere with this. And it's like, there's so many out there.
And the age range can be a little higher.
Yeah. Because she was 25. So you can go you could go anywhere from 21. You can go 21 to like 35. I mean, you could really
35, right. Which is, yeah.
So, what do you got for Ian? We'll do Ian and Max. Do both of them.
Ian and Max.
Yeah.
Okay. So these are your antagonists,
mm-hmm.
Ian and Max, because Chet is Wyatt's older brother. So Ian and Max, I went with. So this is tough because Ian and Max. So you had Robert Downey Jr. originally,
mm-hmm.
right? And who was the other? I forgot who.
Robert Russler.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I went. I don't know. One of these you will definitely know. And again, I went a little older on mm-hmm. these. Just I don't know why. I just did.
Yeah.
So Lucas Hedges, I went for Ian. Lucas Hedges is in Boy Erased and Moonrise Kingdom. Again, he's one of those guys. If you look him up, you'll recognize the face.
Mm-hmm.
But he has sort of like an evil looking antagonist kind of face in a lot of ways. So I was like, he would be for a good kind of villain sort of dude,
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one, which again, this is going to be a little bit more of a name that you will obviously know to play Max, is Ezra Miller.
I have him too.
No.
Yeah.
For which one?
For Max.
Wow. I can't believe we actually hit on one.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I do like my Ian better though.
Okay.
Because I feel like he could play this really well. And he just started really getting into the acting game.
Okay.
And that's Harry Styles.
Okay. That's good. Nah, I like that. Oh, I like that. I like Harry Styles too,
yeah.
So.
I feel like he could play it so well. Just kind of a little bit of a, jackass, but still has that smirk and, kind of like,
definitely can look douchey.
Yeah, he could if he wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah, he can.
I like that one.
No, I like
But,
both of those.
Yeah, Ezra Miller is a great.
Obviously, I like Ezra.
Yeah, I also went older. Obviously, Harry Styles is 28.
I'm
Ezra Miller's
shocked that
29,
we
so-
actually had one in common. I really didn't think that.
I was
because
shocked too.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, so that was good.
Because Ezra Miller does have he does have a mean guy look.
Yeah, he can. He can
does.
easily do that.
He can, yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Okay, good. All right.
All right. So now we're gonna go on to Chet.
For me, I only have Chet and Lisa left. So.
Yeah.
So for Chet,
I went
again,
both ways here too. I went two different ways, but
right.
You can easily play off of it. It's very easy.
So again, Chet is Wyatt's older brother.
Right.
So with Chet, I went John Boyega.
So I have
Abraham
him.
Mata's
I have
older
him in
brother.
there as well.
Oh, okay, great.
But it's a kind of a 1A, 1B situation for me. I was like, because you could easily play it. You don't even have to have, Wyatt B. You don't even have to have him be black, because you can have, he's adopted. You could have a black family, and Wyatt is the one that's adopted, and he's getting made fun of, by John Boyega, or whatever, or vice versa. Either way. So I feel like or you could just do one of those things that.
So we got two?
Yeah. Well.
Or was he your 1B?
He was my 1B.
Okay. All right.
The 1A for me is Nicholas Hoult.
Oh, I think I know who that is.
He's Beast. He's Beast in X-Men.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yep. That's good.
I feel like he could. I feel like he could get a little. You could get into that role.
He's 32, so yeah.
And he could get into that role as kind of the hard ass, military, and he can look crazy.
Yeah.
He's kind of he likes comedy, so.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we've been slightly on the same page with some of these here. Okay.
I do like John Boyega a lot for that role, though. I like him a lot for that role.
Yeah, I thought it would be a good. I thought it'd be a nice.
All right. So you did not do Lord General.
I did not. So
right.
you can.
I did Lord General, and I thought this was the easiest one. As soon as as soon as Lord General, this is the first person that came to my mind when I was thinking about weird recast for Weird Science, and that was Michael Shannon.
Yeah, why not?
Easy.
Yeah.
That's the easiest thing. I was like, absolutely Michael Shannon. 100%. He could totally fit that role. 100%. I was like, there's nothing, I don't really feel like there's anybody that's comparable. I feel like he could do that. He's done comedies. He's done serious roles. He can pull off both. He's great. He can be crazy, perfect.
All right. I'll give you one. I'll throw one in for it. Danny McBride.
That would be good too. Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Just to make sure I contribute.
Yeah.
Because I just, as I'm again looking at the character and remembering how crazy.
Yeah.
Why not Danny?
You got to think crazy biker guy, and I feel like Michael Shannon could do that no problem.
Right. Oh yeah, he could.
And plus he's cut too. He's.
Yeah.
He could fit the kind of diesel
whereas Danny McBride is not cut.
Yeah, he'd be a different kind of biker guy.
He'd be a different version of it, but
which is fine.
Yeah.
But he would look crazy with his head shaved and stuff. So
whatever
you want to do with his head, I don't know.
Right. If you want to mohawk it or whatever.
Yeah.
But Michael Shannon could bring a very dark side to that role too.
Well, yeah,
because he just is.
He could do either. He was great in what is it? The Night Before. He's so funny in that.
Yeah, he was great in that. Yeah, that was actually good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
All right, so now I'll do John Hughes real quick. And I had a list that I could go on because there's lots of directors that I feel like their dialogue is just great. And that's what John Hughes is about, dialogue and teen angst and all that kind of stuff. But really it's the dialogue and the fun back and forth that I think it works really well, which is why I picked people like Adam McKay. I feel like he could do a good job with that. Todd Phillips, who is the director of Wedding Crashers. And others. Sean Levy is another guy that I feel like Taika Waititi, all those guys could fill that role and do a pretty good job. Paul Weitz, Greg Mottola. Oh, there's a lot. There's just a good handful of guys that I feel like could do it and still keep the John Hughes-ness of it.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even go.
I know you didn't even go there. We didn't even.
So...
We don't usually do directors, but I feel like John Hughes is so iconic.
He is iconic.
So let's get into the grand finale here.
Yeah, Lisa. Who is
Kelly LeBrock
babe that we have? Yeah,
this was tough for me. This was really tough. Just fitting the mold is the toughest part.
Yeah.
I feel like so just to throw one out there, like I feel like if you're trying to fit the mold of like model with like certain size, if they're trying to go with like the curve, like the proper,
right.
symmetrical shape that they're going, you could do like an Emily Ratajkowski.
Right.
You could do something like this, but I don't know if she could. She's obviously proven that she can act a little.
Yeah.
A little. But this is a bigger role. I don't know if she has that kind of presence. So
yeah,
she could be if you're trying to do that. But there's other actors out there that I was like, the first person that came to mind was Margot Robbie.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Just because.
But not who you settled on.
No. Because I went a little younger. I just went a little younger. I mean, not much. I mean, Margot Robbie's not old.
No.
She's probably what, 30? Maybe a little younger? I don't know. 31? Yeah. She was born on my birthday, July 2nd, which is awesome. I finally got someone that, is that awesome and has the same day of birth date as me. But I also had, like Haley Steinfeld. I feel like she could fit the role. Not as good. She would have to change her acting style a little bit.
Yeah.
There was people out there. I was like, maybe like a Chloe Grace Moretz, a Cara Delevingne. I don't know. I even had like Willa Holland, who is in Arrow.
Yeah. Yep.
She was the sister.
Yep.
I liked her. She would be maybe a good fit, but she's very thin.
Yes,
so wouldn't be a great fit, but I do like her look and her presence. I thought she always had a good presence on that show. You could do someone like
she's really pretty. Willa Holland.
Yeah,
she's
absolutely.
Really
yeah.
So thin though.
Yeah, she's very thin. But like then there's like Ariana Grande, another one that's tiny and so probably doesn't really fit, but she could like.
God, I'm almost starting to wonder because like you're dancing around a lot of people and you still haven't settled on your person, and I'm starting to wonder if maybe we somehow did miraculously happen upon the same Lisa.
No way. I had like if I wanted to go like African American with I was like Yari Shahidi, who was in Blackish as well. There's an older sister.
Oh yes, yeah.
She's another beautiful girl. But like. There it came down to two for me.
Okay.
That's the 1A, 1B.
Okay.
And it was tough. This was tough.
And 1B.
The 1B is Lily James.
Lily James.
She's playing Pamela Anderson in the.
Oh yeah.
She is also Cinderella in the remake. She is a very talented actress. I feel like she could do that very well.
Yeah. She's got the right.
Yeah.
Kind of.
She has the presence, all that. She could do it.
I could see it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely. But the person that I ended up settling on was about the same age as Kelly LeBrock here. And she's known and she's starting to build up more of a presence. Like she was in the show Schmigadoon with Keegan-Michael Key and Cecily Strong, which was on Apple TV.
Okay.
Very good. She was a Disney girl growing up. Okay. She was Liv and Maddie. She has a presence in other movies that are in that area as well. And her name's Dove Cameron. I feel like she could play this role. And based on the way that she was definitely more adult in the Schmigadoon on Apple Plus.
I have to be honest with you.
You've never heard of her.
Never heard of her until you just said her name.
She's a singer and actress, and she is fairly young. Doesn't have a huge presence out there. So I think this would be kind
Very
of
interesting.
yeah.
And she looks young. How old is she?
I think she's in her early to mid 20s.
She's 26.
Yeah.
So okay. All right.
So
That's very
25,
interesting.
26. She's a pretty girl. She, is fine with like, doing those possibly iconic moments like that. Yeah. So I feel like she could do the job. And she's a solid actress. Like she's not like, I wouldn't say the best in the world, but I wouldn't say Kelly LeBrock was either. She just handled her lines very well, and I feel like Dove Cameron could do that.
Okay.
But she would have to change her hair color, of course.
Yeah.
I feel like you can't. Whatever. You have to be brunette.
A brunette.
Yeah.
This was the one of all of them that I felt so strongly about because as far as the pick that I was very confident in.
It was tough
because I felt so confidently about this pick over any of the others, and I feel like most of my other selections were pretty decent. Mm-hmm. But there was one that just sort of hit me very, very fast on this. And I was like, yeah, that's the woman. And she's a little bit older, 33. Mm-hmm. So she's at the end there of that range.
I think that's perfect, yeah.
That you would like to shoot for. Mm-hmm. And she is just a woman that even when she doesn't look good, she still looks good. She is just like an exotic, stunning beauty. Mm-hmm. Eyes. I'm just looking at her picture right now. I mean, she's like, I could see her. And when I was making this selection, I was trying to think, okay, when you see this woman for the first time, they've invented her, right? And she's coming through that smoke, right? And you're seeing her like walk through that door. Mm-hmm. Like, who could you imagine being just so incredibly beautiful in that, seeing that, like just that vision of that scene, right? Mm-hmm. And there was kind of one name that just hit me over the head very, very easily and very fast. And that woman has been in quite a few movies. Mm-hmm. She's built a nice little, over recent years, I'll just give you a few movies. War Dogs, she appeared in. She was in Blade Runner 2049. Mm-hmm. Very recently in No Time to Die.
She in Aladdin?
And then even more recently, Knives Out. And her name is Ana de Armas.
I think I know who that is.
And Ana de Armas, let me tell you, man, that she is just like, I wouldn't even make it to second base, man. She's just gorgeous. She's just beautiful. I mean, like, she has a face that I could just like stare at, like, uncomfortably.
Okay.
like if I saw her, and here's a pretty decent picture of her.
Yeah. That fits pretty well. I like that. Yeah.
I just feel like, and she dated Ben Affleck
that
for
kind of exotic,
a while.
Yeah, that exotic look. Yeah.
Right. That sort of exotic look. And like, even so, my point was like, when you saw her in, here's another, again, just like,
you got to move it over a little. Yeah, you got
here.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, just fits.
Yeah.
Just fits. Like,
I think that's a pretty good fit. Yeah.
Here's a pretty good one that really kind of gives you, again, this is a little bit blurry of the picture, but how about this one? Like, again, like, couldn't you just see her? Like,
absolutely.
But I love her. I think she's just breathtakingly gorgeous.
Like, and that was the thing, is you had to find somebody that was a little, like, looked a little exotic.
Oh my goodness, like this picture. Like, oh yay. Sign me up.
You had to find someone that was a little exotic looking.
Boy, good for you, Ben Affleck. I mean, he's not with her anymore. He's obviously back with J-Lo now, but wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
imagine getting this, man, Ben Affleck. What a life. He's played Batman. He's just been with some of the most beautiful women you could even imagine.
Garner.
Oh,
Armas.
Oh man. God, it's a who's who. He's just run the gauntlet there.
I think that's why you have to find someone that looks a little exotic, and that's why it was tough. Yeah. I mean, I do think that all of those people that we talked about all have that exotic kind of flavor, and I do like that. That's a good one. Especially
think
that first picture you showed me. It was like, yeah.
Yeah.
She kind of has that look of.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that one was easy for me. That one was my easiest choice of any of them.
I like that. That was fun. All right,
yes,
so that's I think that's pretty. Oh, I did want to touch on real quick, and then we'll do the Wheel of Destiny. But I wanted to touch on what movies are you really looking forward to, like over the next several months, for the rest of the year, just like top 3, like big blockbuster kind of things.
So
I think we're both probably going to say the same things, but
definitely. I mean, first and foremost, Doctor Strange. That's. I mean, now keep in mind, I still haven't seen No Way Home yet because I don't go into movie theaters, and I need to wait for it to come out in a few weeks, which it is coming out. I think it got pushed to March 22nd, which sucks. But at least Scream 5 is coming out tomorrow, so I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
But so I would say number one is probably Doctor Strange.
Okay.
I would say number 2, speaking of Ana de Armas, would be Knives Out 2, even though that's going to be a straight to Netflix movie because I just loved the first one so much.
I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. So and I liked the Daniel Craig character. I thought it was like a really kind of good. It was just sort of a really fun role. There's where it's tough. I mean, I guess I would have to put the Batman in there. I don't know when I'm going to see it. But there's a lot. I mean, Thor, Love and Thunder, Morbius, Black Adam, The Flash. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna call an audible here. I'm gonna go with The Flash because I can't wait to fucking see Michael Keaton wearing that Batman suit again. So it's got to be The Flash. Flash got to be my number. In fact, I'm going to move The Flash up to number 2 and put Knives Out 2 to number 3, and then in the honorable mention, I'll put number 4 as the Batman.
Not Jurassic World Dominion.
Yeah. I mean, I am looking forward to that because I can't wait to see Jeff Goldblum back. But
what about Lightyear?
Lightyear actually. You know what? Down the road, Halloween Ends. It's tough. There's so much shit. I mean, we're still in February here, so there's going to be so much stuff that's coming. But
Black Adam's supposed to come out this year. You have
Black Adam,
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yep.
You know what? Black Panther 2.
Yes. That's going to be sad. Wakanda Forever, I think it's called.
Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom.
Here's one that I'm actually
potentially Avatar 2.
Here's a sneaky one that I'm kind of interested in. Elvis. Have you seen the trailer for that Elvis movie?
Yeah, that looks with Tom Hanks.
Does look yeah, that looked good. Mm-hmm. That looked pretty good to me.
I agree. So that I am intrigued by a lot of movies this year.
Oh my God, is this real?
What?
They're making because when they made this for TV, it was scary as fuck. Salem's Lot.
Uh-huh.
They're making another Salem's Lot. It says it's release date of September 9th. I don't know if it's going to be a movie or if it's. I'll tell you what though, as a like made for, I think it was like a made for TV movie or something like that. But that was a scary fucking movie.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like that movie was scary.
Don't watch that stuff.
It's like this town where like residents are like being turned into vampires, and but it's like scary. It's not like it's not like campy. It's fucking scary.
Right.
So that could be an interesting one.
Yeah.
But I gave it. So those are my top 3. I guess if I had to just rank them again, one. What did I say? One was Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Number 2, I'll go with The Flash. Number 3, I'll go with Knives Out 2, and maybe in a tie, the Batman.
So the most anticipated for me is the Batman. That's the one I want to see the most. That is.
Well, you don't have to wait much longer.
Well, I'm not going to be able to see it open a weekend because we're going to Mexico on Saturday.
Mexico. So that's right. You're going to Cancun, right?
Yeah. So I'm not going to be able to go see it most likely this coming week. I tried to get some tickets for Thursday.
Whoa.
But I couldn't find any decent seats.
Got some breaking news in baseball. Derek Jeter has left the Marlins. He is stepping down from his post as chief executive officer of the Marlins, reports Craig Mish of Sports Grid. It's a mutual decision that will go into effect immediately, per Mish, who adds that the two sides are parting ways entirely. Jeter soon followed with a statement announcing that he is indeed leaving the organization. Today, I'm announcing that the Miami Marlins and I are officially ending our relationship, and I will no longer serve as CEO nor as a shareholder in the club. We had a vision 5 years ago to turn the Marlins franchise around, and as CEO, I have been proud to put my name and reputation on the line to make our plan a reality. Through hard work, trust, and accountability, we transformed every aspect of the franchise, reshaping the workforce and developing a long-term strategic plan for success. That said, the vision for the future of the franchise is different than the one I signed up to lead. Now is the right time for me to step aside as a new season begins. My family and I would like to thank our incredible staff, Marlins fans, Marlins players, and the great Miami community for welcoming us with open arms and making us feel at home. The organization is stronger today than it was 5 years ago, and I am thankful and grateful to have been a part of this team. Wow.
Wonder where he's going.
That's a banger right there.
What he's going to do.
Craig Mish. I've never heard of. What is this, a Mish bomb? I guess it's a Mish bomb then. We got a Mish bomb. So, yeah, I wonder if he's coming back to the Yankees.
That would be interesting.
Hey, that's a pretty girl out there. I wonder if she dates one of the Yankees. I wonder if she goes out with one of the Yankees. I wouldn't know.
Who's your favorite rascal?
Is it Alfalfa? Or is it Spanky?
Good
Sinner.
stuff. Good stuff.
Sinner.
So that's an interesting tidbit of news right there. I'm anxious to see where he.
To quote Mel Allen, how about that?
That's an interesting free agent that's out there right now.
From an ownership perspective, or whatever.
Wherever
I
you
would
want
love
to
to
do,
have.
yeah.
You know, I wonder though. Jeter to me falls into that Michael Jordan category of like the guy won so much, it's impossible to. He just will never be satisfied. Like to me, it's hard to be in a role like that when you have just done nothing, when you are synonymous with nothing but winning, which Jeter is and Michael Jordan is, your standards are out. They're out of this world.
Or
it's
he just
how
has
do you even live up to
he
your
has a
own
vision,
standards?
and if they're not going to follow his vision, he's going to say peace.
And his vision probably involves spending more money than they're willing to spend.
I don't know.
I mean, it's not like he was a majority shareholder here. No. He was a minority holder, and he was meant to be the face of the franchise.
And he probably left with a little extra coin.
I'm sure he did.
But anyway, he is hey, having a leader like that around.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to have him in there.
Oh, sure.
Smacking Cashman around a little bit.
Love for him to give Cashman a run for the money. To be honest, that ain't happening.
No, not a chance. That is above his pay grade, I think. But
yeah,
but it'd be nice to see what his thoughts were. All right, so as far as the movies, pretty much the Batman, Doctor Strange 2. And then you have a bunch of ties between Thor, Love and Thunder. I'm very interested in the Atom Project. There's a bunch of animated movies out there, like the Bad Guys, the Super Pets,
Super Pets,
that looks funny. Turning Red looks good. Another Pixar movie that looks amazing.
Oh yeah.
It'll be interesting to see which one wins, either Turning Red or Lightyear.
Which one ends up being best animated film?
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be Lightyear.
Yeah, I'm even interested to see Jurassic World Dominion.
Yeah, I want to see it.
It's not the highly anticipated movies though.
No.
But between that, Black Adam, there's a lot that's out there.
I mean, for me, mostly nowadays,
even Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, that's going to be one that's going to give the Lightyear and Turning Red run for their money as well.
Yes, so. Yeah, you're right. It would.
Wakanda Forever, that's going to be interesting. The Flash, there's so many that I'm interested in.
I mean, the Flash, just the thing that's going to be interesting about the Flash is not going to be the Flash. It's going to be like Affleck and Keaton being in it together. Like that's going to be the part that people can't wait to see.
Yeah,
Just don't kill Michael Keaton, man. I'll be fucking pissed.
There's Deep Water 2 or Deep Water.
Deep what?
There's this movie Deep Water that's coming out. It's with
sounds like a shark movie.
Affleck and De Armas.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that what they? Okay.
It's about a married couple at odds with each other to begin to play a dangerous mind games with each other, eventually leading to murder.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
I wonder who gets murdered.
I was like, is it a shark movie?
No.
Deep Water.
That's what it looked like. It sounded like.
They actually did the Meg 2. They made the announcement about the Meg 2 being, I think it's in I think it's being filmed actually.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited about because I that was such a cheeseball movie.
Got to make that money for Jason Statham.
My man. Love Jason Statham.
He's funny.
He's so great in Spy. I'm sorry.
When are they going to come out with Spy 2?
I don't know.
Come on.
That needs to happen.
They all were
you
great
can bring
in that.
whole cast back too.
Yeah, they were
Like
all
of them.
great.
Like all the major players all lived.
They were all great.
So yeah, I mean every one of them. Like that cat. Oh God, that movie is so underrated.
It's not even underrated. I mean, that movie was great.
No, I know it actually has like a really high Rotten Tomatoes score, and it's still underrated. Because Statham alone is just comedy genius.
So
the shit that came out of his mouth in that movie.
This could be as how is this only? Because it's a 95% by the critics, right? Which is where I would put it.
Yes, I would put it. Yeah.
The audience rating is 78.
Oh, God, fucking people are stupid.
How?
How do you watch that and how? How do you watch that movie and only say 78?
I don't know. That movie's hilarious.
That's a C+.
Yeah.
You've essentially just given that movie a C+.
Yeah. That is
I think those
easy
people are
A.
C+ people. They're
That's
C+
an easy
people
A.
in life. So it is an easy A. And the movie Easy A is a really easy A too.
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, no. You've never seen Easy A?
No.
Oh, dude, you need to watch that.
Really?
You got to watch Easy A. Oh, it's so great. Emma Stone. Oh, man. Thomas Hayden Church. Emma Stone.
You know what the problem is?
Stanley Tucci. Oh, it's so good.
You know what the problem is?
What?
I'm telling you right now. It's dick pics. That's why.
Oh, because of the dick pic?
I'm telling you, because I looked at it.
That was like...
But listen, that was hilarious. That was hilarious.
It was hilarious, but also wasn't that part of like the extended like director's cut?
I don't
even
care.
think that was
But listen,
part of the theatrical cut.
I don't know. It had to be because I think I saw it in the theater.
Oh, well, maybe it was. I thought that was
it was
part
an
of
R. It's an R-rated movie. So
oh hell, it's a hard R too. Yeah.
That movie, 78%, right? The Night Before, I think is also a hilarious movie. Also, dick pics in that movie, right?
Yeah.
That has a 69% by the critics.
That's fitting.
And 61% by the audience. That is not a D-. I mean, granted, that's a positive rating, but still, that's in the mid-70s at least.
I mean, I wouldn't put it on Spy level, but yes, I would say it's in that movie belongs in the 70s because that's where I would put it.
And
to me, that's like a C+ kind of movie.
Those moments with the proverbial dick pics, are hilarious.
Yeah, they are. No, they are.
And I bet you people just got uncomfortable.
What is Sausage Party on Rotten Tomatoes?
Oh my God.
I fucking love that movie. Holy shit. I don't know that I've ever laughed that much.
We saw it together, didn't we? I think so. I think we saw that together at like a screening.
Yeah. I think, wasn't Frank with us?
Yeah.
I think it was me, you, and Frank. Oh,
yeah, I think so.
My late brother-in-law.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah.
Again, 82% by the critics. What do you think the audience scores?
68.
50.
Ooh. Oh, see, that's dumb.
That movie's
hilarious.
It was so...
You were dying, dude, in that theater. Dying.
Like, I didn't stop laughing.
You know
it's
what's
like
funny,
when your
though,
mouth hurts by the end.
Yes,
it's like
yes.
seeing South Park, like for the first time. Or
remember-
no, like Team America, World Police.
Oh,
seeing
my
that in the
God.
theater.
Oh,
Like your mouth hurts so bad.
Yes, exactly.
Because like people in the theater are so uncomfortable.
Oh, it's so great.
And that makes it even funnier.
You know what's funny is like every once in a while, like I don't know, like sometimes it'll just come up, like we'll be upstairs, like, and I'll just say like, and it's funny because like the kids don't get the reference, but I could just scream out like I could just go America, and Melissa will go fuck yeah, but the kids have like no clue, like what is this? Like what are they doing? It has happened a couple of times. Like it happened, like I swear, I feel like it happened a few weeks ago. So we were talking about, I don't know, we were talking about like something, and one of the kids said something like, "Yeah, America," and I was just like, "America," and then Melissa and I were both like, "Fuck yeah!" It's great. It's great because I remember Melissa and I seeing that movie together when we were obviously young and just like fucking dying.
Oh, that movie. Still.
Hello, Hans Brickman. Eric Baldwin. I'm sorry, man. That fucking movie's classic. That's a classic.
So funny.
That
anybody our age, if you yell out America, everybody.
Everyone should say fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you should do that in a stadium and see what happens, right?
Yeah. How did they not do that?
I guarantee you, like, you want to, speaking of, this was a funny story.
Which Team America World Police, 77 by critics, 80% audience. Still low on both ends.
Yeah, I would put that into the high 80s. That would be a high.
That's a 90. It's easy a 90.
It's so memorable. And it was so like revolutionary too at the time, right? It's because it was puppets too. Like that was the other thing. Like literal string puppets, like fucking Pinocchio. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god.
There's another one I couldn't stop laughing because people were so uncomfortable.
Yeah. So there's another movie. Oh shit. There's another movie that I actually liked that came out a few years ago.
Yeah.
With puppets. Shit, I keep forgetting the name of it, but I really liked it. What was it called?
Wasn't Melissa McCarthy in that or something?
The Happy Time Murders.
Yeah,
the Happy Time Murders. Okay.
I thought that was okay.
So now,
yeah.
That movie, it was trashed on Rotten Tomatoes. I think that movie's funny. Like, that's a guilty pleasure movie for me. So it's like 23% and 39% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I would have put that movie like in the 60s because I think that's a funny ass movie.
Another one there's another one that you and I love that most people don't, and that's A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Yeah, see, I don't understand how you can't like that movie.
Like 33% and 41%.
That's a joke. Yeah. How? That movie is so fucking funny. And also the cast is phenomenal.
It's so good.
Liam Neeson, Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
What's his name there?
Doogie Howser.
Neil
Patrick Harris.
Yes. Neil Patrick Harris, but then the other guy too. Giovanni Ribisi, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he was great too. Dude, that movie is fucking. And Sarah Silverman was awesome too.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that movie's amazing.
Amanda Seyfried or
Amanda Seyfried. Yep.
There's
dude,
so
that
many.
cast was awesome. Even Mr. Belding.
Mr. Belding.
Remember? Yeah, Mr. Belding, Principal Belding from Saved by the Bell.
Oh, right.
Remember? He gets blown up.
Yeah.
Right? He was selling. What was he selling? I forgot what he was selling because he was selling
snake oil.
People die at the
fair. He's a snake oil salesman. Yeah.
People die at the fair.
Right. Oh
so
my
fucking
god.
Awesome, man. That movie is so. I'm sorry. I don't know how you could not watch that movie and not fucking die.
Yeah, it's so funny.
It's so good.
So good.
It's so good, and the dialogue is hilarious. And Seth MacFarlane. I mean, again, Seth MacFarlane is great. Honestly, for me, the best part of that movie is Charlize Theron because you could just fall in love with her in that movie.
Oh, she's great in everything.
You can fall in love with her anyways. I could just watch her in a fucking commercial.
You should see her on Hot Ones.
Really?
She runs the gauntlet like a boss.
She is.
She takes it with ease. Like everybody under the sun was just kind of like, that always has like a real serious issue with a lot of the wings. Yeah. She was like giving flavor profiles of the wings and handling it with like barely a wince. Like she was just a boss. Animal, huh? Yeah,
she's got a hotter.
A boss.
Yeah. Have to watch.
You've got to watch. It's great.
She is a rare beauty.
Yeah, you have to watch it. She was great in that. That's it. It's like a 25-30 minute watch. Just check it out and you'll like.
I'll YouTube it.
And she swears and stuff like that. It's just great.
Oh, that's what I'm saying though.
She's real.
She's so real. Like that's what I felt like when I watched A Million Ways to Die in the West too. I felt like she acted that role so well, and I felt like she probably is kind of like this in real life. Like this is probably kind of who she is. Yeah. But isn't it weird though? Like she could do anything. She could be down and dirty, but she could also be the classiest broad in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Like easily. She could do anything on camera. Anything. Indeed. She could even be hideously ugly. Remember that movie Monster? Mm-hmm. Oh my God, she was so fucking ugly. Holy shit. Oh my God. Like they actually took a woman of her incredible beauty and made her hideous.
Yep.
Did she win an Oscar for that? I can't remember.
I think so.
Because I think she has one. If she did, it would have been for that.
Yeah. All right. So that's pretty much it for our show. I'm actually gonna I'm gonna actually have go back and do the
spin that wheel. She did win for Monster 2004, and she's been nominated 2 other times. In 2020 for Bombshell, and in 2006 for North Country. I don't even know what the hell that was.
She's a talented actress.
Oh, she's fucking unreal.
All right. There was the little logo icon thingy majigger. Now we're gonna have a little.
Have we added in the new one?
Oh yeah.
Comic books?
Oh, it's full. It's loaded. I'm gonna put it down.
I
first.
really hope it lands on that because I don't have to do any homework because it's done.
Lots of homework. That's gonna be a tough one for me. All right, ready? One.
It was tough.
Oh, I don't know what it landed on. Pick a director to recast a film, to recast and film a movie.
I feel like we've done that before.
We have.
Okay, it landed on that again. Huh?
Do you want to not do that one?
Yeah, do it. Spin it again. And if it lands on that again, then I'll accept it as fate. But pick a different one though.
All right.
Let's go in a different direction because we did that kind of recently. I feel like.
I don't know if it's recent. We've had a lot of breaks.
That's true.
Oh, it landed on something yellow this time.
Okay.
OFN Brad Pitt.
Ooh, fuck, that's brutal. Oh man, that's not even nice.
Brad Pitt. Lot of good movies. Lot of good movies.
That is so fucking brutal. Because I like so many Brad Pitt movies from so many different eras. Like that's the crazy part.
I know.
Ugh.
Brad Pitt. I mean, there's Mr. and Mrs. Smith. There's, Moneyball. There's, any of the Ocean's movies. There's Fight Club. There's Snatch. There's, oh my God. I mean, you could go
How
on
about
and on.
Probably my favorite one, and I'm not necessarily saying this is a giveaway, but Seven. I mean,
Yeah.
Seven is
Seven is my favorite crime
a kid,
thriller of all
and
time.
he's a kid.
Mm-hmm. It's my favorite crime thriller of all time.
And
Second, Gone Girl.
Don't forget about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Inglourious Bastards.
Mm-hmm. Also great, yeah. I mean, he runs the gauntlet.
Fuck, this is gonna be tough. And the Never, I'm not even sure. I mean, look, he did movies like 7 Years in Tibet, whatever. But that doesn't mean it's a bad movie. It's just not even a movie.
Troy's
I'd really
a nice
watch.
guilty movie.
Oh, Troy.
That's a guilty movie pleasure for me. I mean, guilty pleasure.
You have no
movie
idea
for me.
how much I love that movie. Because the fight scene there in the end with him and oh God, fuck, it's terrible. Well, the guy who plays Hector is just awesome. It's so awesome. I know it's terrible. I can't remember his name. The guy that kind of in between played Incredible Hulk there. Fuck, what the hell is his name? He's a good actor too. I really like him.
Eric something or other.
Yeah, that's it. It is an Eric something. It's really bad that I can't remember his last name though because I really like him.
Isn't it Eric?
Yeah, it is. No, it is. Fuck, I gotta look it up. Eric Bana.
Bana, yeah.
Jesus, how did I
you can't think of Bruce Banner. It's
I know,
Bana.
you could think of Bruce Banner and Bana.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
And I wouldn't have come up with that in a million years.
I know, me neither. Like, it just completely skipped my brain.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
It's good. And so that's going to be a tough one. You wouldn't think it would be that tough, but it is. It's really tough.
Yeah. Okay, OFN of man.
He's got a lot of good out there.
No, there are 4 movies that are really messing with the Forever one. I think I know the Forever one, but the Once one's going to be brutal because I'm just going to have to make a really hard call.
Yeah, because
I know what it's going to be.
I know probably what's going to be my Once. I don't know what my Forever is going to be. That's the toughest one for me.
I have no clue what my Never is going to be because I'm going to really look.
Yeah.
Look at the catalog and be like, okay, what did he do that was just not good?
Yeah.
There's one.
He's been great forever. Even in
he's even done some like
Jesse James. Wasn't he in Jesse James?
Yeah. Didn't he do? What was that? Wasn't there a movie called Burn After Reading that he was in?
Yes.
That's a low key good movie.
It's a very good movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, his catalog is disgusting. I don't even know what's bad. Yeah, right.
That meme.
There's just nothing that
he doesn't care about making a fool out of himself.
No, that's another thing. He's likable in that sense too. Maybe him and Charlize Theron just need to get together.
Seriously, what? Why hasn't that happened?
That's a power couple.
Oh my gosh.
Christ. God God, can you imagine the kids? Beautiful. Oh my God, they'd just be gorgeous.
They're
little
both like
babies
50
running around.
now, though.
Fucking come out perfect. Yeah, they are up there. Charlize doesn't look that old. He actually is starting to look his age a little bit.
But he still looks so good.
Still looks good.
Yeah.
But
it's
she
disgusting.
just looks.
It's disgusting. How
Every time I see that fucking Chanel commercial and she's just like walking at me in slow motion, I'm just like, to me. Keep coming. Keep walking. Keep walking. Ay, ay, ay. She's something, man. Oy. We could spend a whole show on her. If we had to do an OFN of her movies, that would be brutal. Maybe we need to replace that once we do Pitt. We need to replace that with her.
All right.
Just do it. Do it right now.
I'll do it right now.
Oh, that's going to be awful. I'm setting myself up for pain. That's terrible.
This is the right marker. But... All right. It's on.
Nice.
Replaced.
That's brutal. I mean, Million Ways to Die in the West is going to definitely show up on one of our lists, if not both.
Maybe, yeah.
maybe
I do
not.
like that movie.
It's tough. You got to look. Her catalog is massive. So
that's the problem with Brad Pitt too. A lot of these people that we're doing that, like Angelina Jolie's on there, who I don't like as much, but she still has a massive catalog.
Yeah, she does. I feel like
I could easily find a Never.
Pretty well.
I could easily find a Never.
Yeah, I could too.
The ones in Forever are going to be tough.
I actually watched that movie that went to HBO Max that she was in this past year. That what was it? Those Who Wish Me Dead.
I haven't seen it. Yeah,
it was okay.
Yeah,
nothing special. It was okay.
Well, that's the thing, is that she has things that are nothing special, but she has some great performances too.
Let me put it to you this way: it was the perfect pandemic straight to streaming movie.
Oh, okay, good.
Like
cool.
Like nothing you'd want to actually pay for.
Yeah, I like it. All right, we are out. This is the third time we're playing the outro music.
Okay. Well, we've reached the end of our show, and in the words of the great Tony Stark, part of the journey is the end. But we will be back next Monday to do an OFN of Brad Pitt movies.
Yes.
Hopefully, we'll have some good news on the Major League Baseball front. Maybe, I don't know.
Hopefully, we'll have some more news on Phil Mickelson.
Yeah,
I'd like to find out some of the deets.
We didn't talk, obviously. Hopefully, maybe intentionally, about anything with Ukraine and Russia, which is just horrifying. But fuck you, Putin. That's about all I got on that.
I am following it too much on the outside, and I need a release somewhere else. So
yeah,
that's some terrifying stuff.
Yeah, that's real life shit.
Yeah. So we'll go on, and we'll be doing that. You can find me on Twitter at EinhornusFinkel. You can find the show at Shane and Brian Man on Twitter, and Shane and the Brian Man on Facebook. Where can I find you?
Twitter, _Bri_man. I'm not really looking for any more Instagram followers, and I haven't been on Facebook for literally years. So, and I don't miss it.
Yeah. I don't go on Facebook very often. So
I don't miss it even a little.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit.
I do on Instagram and Twitter, occasionally Twitter, but mostly Instagram. That's where I kind of follow things. But Twitter, I go on there because there's a lot of other information that I like to find out. But yeah, peace out. We'll see you guys Monday. Can't wait to talk to you. Yeah, buddy. It's fun as always. I mean, where's the subscribe thing? I don't even know. Where's the subscribe thing? Where is it? It's right here. This is it. Yes. Yeah. Do it. Smash it. I'm gonna do it again, just because. Smash it again. Peace out.